sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, guy next door.
Surprise! It's me, DK.
And me, Than.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. Help, they're trying to get you to drink shots. Why are you drinking shots?
Peer pressure's a
Yes.
hell of a drug, Smalley.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all bad.
I
Don't
mean,
do it.
The important
It's overrated.
question is, what kind of shots are you drinking? That's what I want to know. Hey fellas, how are ya?
Doing good.
I mean, I'm more exhausted than I have been than usual over the last, bit, because it's amazing what, going on a lasers trip and, getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night will do for you. Getting too old for this shit.
Getting
Basically
too
what that
old.
gets
Getting too
down
old
to.
for this shit. We're gonna have a whole segment about shit we are getting too old for.
You would think Laser Force would be right at the top of that list. You know, that child's game that apparently we're all very fond of?
Nope.
Yeah, but, it is what it is. Whilst the rest of... whilst the rest of the world got to bask in the fortunateness that was the recent... I mean, that's a good question to ask. Well, yeah, while the rest of us bask in the glory that is a Laser Force event, you guys actually got to live it. And I must say, it warmed the cockles of my heart to see both of your names in the resupply in one of the games that was being played. That I was very
You know
happy to
that I
see
got
that.
messages from no fewer than 5 people about is that really you? Is somebody trolling? Did they log in with your number?
So I think we've got our D&D chat group and
Yeah.
was legit in there. Like the boys were like,
Yeah.
"Is that DK?" I was like, "I don't think it is DK. I don't think he was going." But it shows how much we communicate as a group on this channel.
Hey.
In fairness,
I knew he was going.
Yeah, in fairness, Than was really the only person who knew. I deliberately engaged in a conspiracy of silence to keep everyone else in the dark and make a surprise appearance on the Monday of the get-together.
Fucking chop liver next door sitting up here.
Well, I probably would have let you in on the little secret had I been on the pod last week, but then obviously, my friend had some unfortunate life events, so
Yeah.
I had to step out for that one. But yeah, otherwise I probably would have had quite a bit of trouble keeping it a secret because I was very excited to go and play some laser tag.
You didn't want to do a specific the announcement podcast or like many other people have done so far.
No, what kind of a
Hey,
dickhead
Marcus.
would do something like that?
Stussius, you almost messaged me too. Oh, as in was he legitimately there? It was the burning question of the week. Is that really Fireball DK?
No, it 100% was, and yeah, that resupply game we had together. That was a random, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
we got random into resupply. And it was like, okay, I think we know how to do this. Maybe we'll see how it goes.
And it was pretty good. I think we won that game.
Did you? I watched surprisingly not much of the streams this week. I found myself very busy with my business, which doesn't always happen. But this week just timed out that way. So I only got to see a few games, but I happened to watch half of that game, and I was like, "Oh, my boys in the resupply! Isn't that poetic? I love it. So good."
Your boys in the resupply, be in the resupply, doing resupply things.
So good.
Yeah.
Did you always remember to double tap? I hope you did.
I don't
When
think we
called
missed
for,
any.
yes.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't think we missed any doubles.
We didn't miss any doubles that were supposed to be doubles. I mean, if people came
Yeah.
in and said they only wanted shots, we'll certainly oblige them. But...
Yeah, I just doubled them anyway. Be like, no, don't be greedy. I mean, be greedy. take everything.
Yeah.
So before we get into the resupply plays, the resupply, exactly right.
Yeah, that was a thing. It 100% happened. It's pretty cool.
Yo, dog, I heard you like resupplying your resupply.
So before we get into the week recap, just to let you know what I was up to, right, being left out of everything, is we got to play Laser Force here, but only 5 people came. So we played like some real random games, and it was actually fun as shit. Our site has new signage, which looks amazing. You can see it from the motorway. And also more fruitful trips to the dump shop. So, you know, that's my week wrapped up in a nice little bow.
I agree with Trinity. Left out, plays laser tag weekly. I know, what an asshole.
Yeah, but you know, you always get mad FOMO not coming to events. You know, if borders weren't as they were, I might have considered it. And spent, you know, a couple weeks there. And you know, Vegas trip seems to be the way to go. Whenever you go to Utah, I'm surprised that more people don't go to Vegas. Fucking love that place. Anyway,
If you're into that sort of thing.
I do like me a little bit of gambling. If you win a
Goldfish says Mad FOMO is not having weekly tag, and I'm inclined to agree with her. So Steve, you just need to shut the fuck up. It's pretty much what that gets down to.
What you need,
just throwing that out there.
What you need is your very own home photon set that you could run around in the backyard. And if you don't have friends to play with you, or a friend, find a fence post. That's what I do.
Played QZR outside once, almost got shot doing it.
That is accurate.
Was that was like years ago, right?
That was in Loveland, yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. It was Venom's dumbass who almost got shot doing it. So
I've actually just gone through. I'm making my way through all the back catalog of the Resupply podcast, and I've just actually gone through the podcast where you talk about that. So it's funny you should bring it up. But how was the week, fellas? I can't imagine how amazing it must have been.
I mean, I'll kind of dovetail it with, you know, my standard mental health update that I like to do every week. You know, it was 5 days of not dealing with my current reality was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Bar the slightly more than minor meltdown I did have one night, with a complete crisis of confidence about, you know, basically, I get into very negative spirals about thinking people just like to have me around because I'm useful, because, you know, I do, you know, lasers organizing stuff, so therefore that's the only reason that like 95+% of the community likes dealing with me, because I'm useful. And
I mean, you know, aside from, you know, liking you as a person.
Yeah, no. So I got into a very, very, very bad.
Whoa. Sorry, bad.
Yeah, look at Maddie gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
You're a bloody legend, Slam, man. If I spend more money, will you do it again?
He probably will, Stalker. Steve-O's kind of a whore like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, Steve will do a lot of things for a Klondike bar.
He's like, white people push button.
Yeah.
Just make it rain all over me.
Yeah.
Morning, Bright. Thank you so much, Slam, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Stalker, that's awesome. So bar that very, very bad couple of hours, which, yeah, is not some. Hopefully, something I don't repeat anytime soon, because that was fucking terrible.
Imposter syndrome is a difficult thing to kick.
Yeah.
And it can happen in a lot of areas of life. I know it's certainly uncommon for people in education to get it, for people who are like playing D&D who want to DM get that same sort of thing, that it's like, am I only being kept around because somebody else is getting something out of it? But
Yeah. So
it's definitely it's not true in your case. We all love you, Than, and I know for a fact
love me. Most people love me. There are definitely some people that don't, but that's okay.
Yeah, still fuck them.
Can't win them all, bro.
Pretty much. But no, I mean, I definitely had multiple people that tried to help me de-spiral, and definitely that the assist on the de-spiraling was more effective than I think I may have given credit for at the time that it was happening. So, those people that were helping me de-spiral, I'm thanking directly, not necessarily here by name, but thanking directly. So that's definitely a thing. And then basically the day after, or the morning after the spiral, went out to Zion National Park on a day where it was snowing, and that was fucking awesome. And that kind of helped reset things a bit too. So yeah,
you seemed to be in better spirits after that.
Well, it was kind of hard not to be. I mean, it's like, oh, well, this is very cool, and it was cold and snowing and this, that, and the other. So I got a bunch of pictures. I may or may not post some of them. I don't.
Yeah, you know how it is, Steve, when you go out to the desert and then it snows.
Yeah, definitely know how that is.
Yes, Pinesize is correct. He literally made you walk 10 miles uphill in the snow.
It was not 10 miles uphill in the snow. It was
3 miles uphill in the snow. But even so, you kids don't know what it was like back in the day.
Used to like Than, now not quite so sure.
It was about 2.5 miles total ish, and like the last 0.3 ish, 0.4 ish of that was after the trail had officially ended, so it was on the road. Oops.
Reminding him how he used to get to school. Amazing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but then they invented the wheel shortly thereafter, so things got a lot easier after that.
But this week was supposed to be a therapy week, but I canceled it because being out of town was like, I don't want to have to try to arrange things in the middle of that. So that appointment will happen next Tuesday.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
You had laser therapy, which some people consider superior to traditional therapy.
They would be wrong.
So, it's just different. It's not better or worse.
Yeah, but no. Overall, it was definitely it was definitely a very good 5 days. Not dealing with my current reality, and then I got home last night and woke up this morning, and current reality all kind of crashed down on me, and it's like, oh fuck. But yeah, that's life. Can't run from reality completely. It catches up with you eventually.
It always tends to flush out your resupply, and then you just have to go elsewhere and reset back up.
Pretty much.
Well, so I mean, it sounds like emotionally it was a mixed week, but that tends to be how these trips go, right? Like, at its base level, it's always bittersweet going to a tournament, because you get a taste of not only competitive laser tag, but like surrounded by your community in the flesh. And like, part of what we do here has been really good because the community gathers, or at least a portion of it gathers once a week and hangs out with us for an hour or two. But there's nothing quite like getting hugs from real people, even in COVID times. But
which I guess we might as well have our updates on that also. So the reason that I ended up deciding last minute, and this wasn't something that I had been keeping under wraps for more than about a week, was that I was able to get my COVID vaccine last Monday, so a week before I left for the tournament, at least the first one in the sequence. So that's still pretty good protection against the virus, and an increasing number of people, both in the laser tag community as a whole and in the United States, are getting the vaccine. So things are starting to look better here, both in the country and I think for just laser tag going forward. So that was ultimately why I decided to book a flight. Last Monday was literally in the span of a couple hours. I got an update saying, hey, you can get the vaccine. I'm like, cool. Checking for appointments. Oh, I can go like today, like right now. So I said, get on it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
As soon as I got home, you better believe that I was booking that flight, my hotel, the rental car. I'm just like, all right, let me get in as soon as I possibly can. The only reason I didn't get there the day before was that it was my grandma's birthday last Sunday. I'm like, well, I can't skip town for that.
Yeah.
Got to be a good family member, and then I'll fuck off with my responsibilities and go off someplace else.
I mean, that seems to be a good list of priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, family, tag, work. Yeah, that should be the order.
I mean, I was gonna say, Than, the other alternative is just keep living in the fantasy land for as long for a long time.
Again, get that home photon set, and you'll be good. You'll be living in fantasy land for however long you want. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. There was only so long that the escaping from reality was going to be viable. So.
Yeah.
I know the 60 papers that I had to grade in my inbox this morning were a key indication of that.
Yuck. Sorry, I'll get back to your higher education just as soon as I finish playing laser tag.
No, don't worry. I left a message from my students saying I was at a conference this week.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Professor DK is at a conference this week. Please allow up to 24 hours for an email reply.
Yeah, I'm about to take a whole bunch of Californians and Utahians to school.
Or vice versa is more often the case.
Yeah.
Utahians, that's probably not correct. So from a laser, I mean, was there anything else you wanted to touch on, Than, before we move on to the actual tag?
I mean, I will say that, finally actually getting to get out to Zion National Park for the first time after, 4 or 5 trips out there was nice. Even if I didn't get to do, what are considered like the more premier hikes out there, like that would have involved a little more forethought and planning than I put into it.
Well, you don't do it on snow day. Several of those trails are not safe when there's snow.
That's fair. But no, definitely, like, that is definitely something that should be on people's bucket lists, because that park is fucking gorgeous.
Well, I think somebody posted photos. I think it might have been Sims, and I just saw like a whole mixture of different kind of scenery rolled into one like image, like the snow and the desert, and like it looked amazing. Did it have like that crisp mountain air when you went?
So when I went on Tuesday when it was snowing, it was super crisp.
I love that. Yeah,
and then when I went back on Wednesday, it was still crisp, but not quite like the. I basically did the same trail Tuesday and Wednesday, and I actually took some of the same shots both days just to get it's like this is what it looked like Tuesday with all the snow. By Wednesday, all the fucking snow was gone, and here's how it looked now. It was it was really, really good. I guess I am gonna have to actually get some of those pictures posted so that people can see the thing.
Hey, Manette, what's up? Maddie give me shit about my accent, I think.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, we don't pronounce our R's. So, it might not have been Sims, but somebody, I think somebody posted photos from Zion. And I look forward to.
Rachel says he was at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it you,
But I
Rach,
think
that posted photos? Might have been her.
I mean,
No, she
very
said Sims was
possibly.
at the Grand Canyon.
What?
She said Sims was at the Grand Canyon. That's what she just
Right,
said.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure that Rachel did post pictures from
Oh, from Zion.
from
Okay.
Yeah.
from Zion. So she posted some of the snow pictures.
Look glorious.
Since I twisted her arm and dragged her completely unwillingly out to Zion on Tuesday.
The DG
Yeah.
power sling.
So yes.
Right. Enough about this garbage nature. How was how was the tag for the week?
All right. So, actually, no. Let's go back one step because we also have to talk about going up and seeing Thunder's new.
Oh
new site.
yeah.
So we should probably do that before we
Yeah,
get
let's do that.
before we get into the lasers. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, who went up?
So at various times, I think most of us got up there. Let me see. I got up there. I know Goldfish was up there. Josiah, Tucker, and Luke from Loveland were all up there at various times. Disco, Monkey, Autumn, Odin, and Kraken all went up.
Everybody but me.
Basically, everybody went up. Yeah, basically everybody but DK because DK's
for
timing
getting
was
there late.
yeah, pretty much. So it's your own fault, bro. Sorry. But no, so first, actually, we're going to start with the bad because there's not necessarily a ton of bad. First the bad. Remember last week when he was saying how trash his arena is?
Yeah. Did you take any photos or any video?
No,
Fuckers.
because it was that bad.
Oh,
Dude, no.
There's wasn't really anything to take photos of, if I'm understanding the stories correctly. But I'll let Fan get into that.
No, it's just like I don't think I've ever seen an arena with so many stairs in it. And yeah, I mean, it's like literally like walking into the arena and knowing that it was previously a theater. And Eves had mentioned last week that, the guy hadn't leveled the floor. And, you kind of hear that and you go, okay, that doesn't sound great, but okay. And then when you step into the arena and you realize just kind of how
the entire
much of an angle the floor is going down at constantly,
makes you car sick.
yeah, it's bad. Like this, there was no thought at all of like trying to bust out the Delta Strike gear and see how terrible that was because literally none of us wanted to risk playing in that arena, which I think in and of itself should give you some idea of just how bad and dangerous we all thought it was.
What a bunch of wussies.
Yeah, it was not good. Now, beyond that part of it, like that was really the only bad of going up. The facility itself is massive. So much room to do different stuff, which is going to be amazing. He was giving us some of it's like and he being able to actually get a visual on like, yep, and we own this land and we own this land and we don't own that land yet, but we're trying to find out who owns it so we can buy it. And okay, and we're going to be building, we're basically going to be extending the building this way, and it's going to cover this. he still wouldn't give us any hints as to what was
Smart.
going to be going in, NDAs and all that, and that's fine. We have some guesses just based on the size of what they're adding, but we'll let those all just kind of sit at the moment. Well, hopefully it can be something that he comes on later and says, "Hey, this is all the stuff we're doing."
It's like you see windmills and 18 drilled holes in the ground. Oh, I don't know what that's gonna be.
Maddie's on fire today. Stocker referred to it as the Thunderdome before, which makes me incredibly happy. And he just said laser water park, or like.
That's.
I mean, if he doesn't call it the Thunderdome, it seems like a real missed opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Just even somewhere in the arena, it just says, "Welcome to the Thunderdome." Somewhere.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Because, as Thunder is wont to call people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Thunderdome, friend.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, pal.
I'm not your pal, guy.
I'm not your guy, jerk.
It'd be witch. Welcome to Thunderdome, witch.
So yeah, the facility itself. I mean, obviously, it's in process of undergoing, all the painting and replacing of certain things so they can reopen and start making money. So that's cool. But like, you can definitely see the potential for it being pretty fucking amazing. And like I told him, like, I am really pissed off that you're literally giving me reasons to have to come back to Utah. Every time I leave Utah, it's like, okay, cool. Do I have to come back here again? And then it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to make another trip to Utah. This is stupid. But yeah, no, it's good.
So if we host next year, assuming that national, things go back to some semblance of normality, we host next year and they host the year after, that gives him plenty of time to get everything, to get all of his Gen 8 equipment up and running, because that's definitely going to happen. And
well, yes, and one of the other things that he's looking at doing
next year.
So because it's a movie theater. I mean, a bunch of stuff has been converted and whatnot, but so there's this essentially there's slack space that isn't usable by the general public at all, because it's access to the projectors and stuff for the theaters that still exist. So his actual thought process right now is he's going to essentially create what amounts to a members lounge that has direct access to like the vesting room and everything, so that when he runs tournaments, literally they can close tag. All the tag people can be in the members area, and bar, going out into the lobby to get food or going to use the bathrooms, when like the tournament players never have to interact with the public and vice versa. Glorious. So they can keep everything else running.
Wow.
Just close tag for in the week, and we can be in our own little bubble where we're not scaring the general public people, so they can keep making money, which I think that's a pretty solid idea. That's as amazing. Far as that goes.
Because if you can host the Nats and not have to close your whole site down to the public, you're double income. Woo.
Yeah. So it's getting into kind of getting an actual feel for the area being up there. I mean, he wasn't kidding when it's like, yep, it's a small town that has a bunch of little satellite towns that all have to come into that town to do anything.
They call them compounds in Utah, Than.
Yeah, well, I was trying to be something. I don't know why.
Get your PC bullshit out of here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only downside about driving that much further north in Utah is it's amazing how many Trump flags there were on the drive up. But you get that.
Freedom.
Stallion,
Yeah.
Stallion in chat asks, is this arena going to have a viewing gallery? Answer is maybe.
He wants there to be an obs deck.
Yeah, and there's a section of the arena that currently actually like plays out over the arcade, which is a little weird. Which I think could be turned into a pretty solid viewing area and would probably be a better use of the space. But that's my opinion, and whether or not Eves agrees with that opinion is a whole other question as far as that goes. But yeah, big overarching takeaway. It's a massive facility. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's a 3-hour drive from Vegas. It's not that bad. It's definitely going to be worth doing the thing once he's got his shit together.
If you
as far
build
as
it,
that goes,
they will come.
Yeah.
Nats 2023 could be a multi-center tournament.
Yeah, that was actually something that that has gotten brought up, in the kind of the initial like, hey, yeah, what if you did a couple of days at St. George and a couple of days at Cedar City, because we could probably make that work with ownership cooperation. I mean, we know Cedar City would let us do it because that's Isa's site, duh. But I honestly think that we could probably do something similar in St. George because really Jarrett, their owner, has been very good to us over the years. I mean, as long as we could get a certain staff member there to stop touching the computer, great. But that's
and the locks on the token machine apparently.
Yeah, but that's a whole other thing. Oh yeah, no.
Right there with you, chat. These in jokes, I hate them.
Yeah, Snuffles. Jeez, why you gotta ruin everything?
You're such a ruiner, Snuffles.
So,
yeah.
I am very, very excited to go and check out the Thunderdome.
And not just on a Thursday.
Not just on a Thursday. Hashtag Thunderdome Thursday.
I was gonna say, if it is a multi-center tournament, definitely Thursday will be taking place at the Cedar City facility, so we can have actual Thunderdome Thursday.
What do you mean actual Thunderdome? Fuck you, man. I'm reeling.
And that was DK's last episode of the podcast.
Yeah, enjoy unemployment, motherfucker. It sounds dope. It sounds almost like a laser force or laser tag mecca is about to Shangri-La is about to come. I can't wait to visit.
I mean, you can and you will because you have to. So
no, I'm gonna get put into an induced coma until that happens. Hopefully it'll improve my beard, but who knows. So yeah, how was the actual laser tag?
Sloppy.
Ew.
Laser tag was sloppy as fuck.
Good.
Oh my god.
Good. Because how long has it been? Like.
The last time I played was in Syracuse last year for East Coast, so it had been 13 and a half months since I'd played. Yeah, I'm sloppy as fuck. At least from my perspective, it was sloppy. But you also get that when you're changing teams up every night, and then you're also just doing a bunch of randoms where you're throwing 12 people in and letting the matchmaker make teams. So
yeah, let me tell you, the matchmaker, look, I know the theory is supposed to be that it creates these balanced teams, and sometimes, I will be honest, things look skewed on paper, so to speak, but they turn out to be pretty good, interesting games. That is one thing that I think goes in its favor, that you will sometimes get into situations you otherwise wouldn't think are interesting game situations. But that said, it also sometimes it just creates some bizarre, absurdly stacked teams.
Well, so it relies on having people who, accumulated some games at the site, right?
It's that, but again, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. It also something in the algorithm, and I don't have privy access to what that is. I don't know exactly how Scorpion wrote it, but I think part of what it does is it will also prioritize a rotation of positions. So if you just played Scout, you are less likely to get Scout the next game. If you played Scout and then Resup, you are much more likely to get 3-hit the next game that you play.
All right.
Obviously, sometimes that is going to get skewed on the rotation if you have multiple people who have kind of fit that bill, and things will get thrown off. But that I know is a component because it does cycle through the positions. So that's part of it, is that it can just end up skewing things, and then it's like, oh, well, guess what? Thunder hasn't played 3-hit in 2 games, so he's going to be heavy. All right, and the other heavy is going to be, let's see, somebody who hasn't played in 5 years.
Dan.
Minette, Twix, me, any number of people that heavy may not be their primary as far as that goes. Although really, Eves versus most people in his arena as a head-to-head matchup is not really going to go well for the other person either. So, I mean, we do have to kind of take that into account.
There was a game we were watching, and someone in the chat was like, they'd said something like, "Oh, Eves is 3-hit. This is going to be brutal," and somebody else was like, "Yeah, but it's Commander, so it doesn't, it's not too much of a worry." And I was like, I don't know how accurate that is.
Laughs in casual 5-chain.
Yeah, dude is a legend. There's a reason he's one of the goats.
I say
of
we take
American
off and
Laser
nuke the
Force.
entire site from orbit.
Yeah, that is entirely accurate. So, yeah.
But
it was,
aside from sloppy.
Yeah, again, not to say that he obviously hasn't shown that he is a great player in multiple arenas, but yeah, in his own home field, yeah, he's impossible.
Yeah.
I say we take off
it's
and
not
nuke
fair
the
It's just too
entire
many
site from
years of
orbit.
experience and too many situations and angles that are just unknown
I
to other
say we
people.
take
So,
off and nuke the entire site
3-chain.
from orbit.
We got 3-chain.
but hey, I've got 120 some odd games there now, I think. So
I say
I'm
we
catching
take
up.
off and nuke the entire
4-chain.
site from orbit.
Oh, we missed one.
I say we
Oh, there you
take
go.
off and nuke the entire site from
5-chain.
There's 5-chain, folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
PTSD for playing Eves? Yeah, I'd imagine.
But see, that's why he's such a gracious host. He'll let you play the game for 12 minutes, and then he'll just, nuke the shit out of you. But he'll let you play for that whole 12 minutes. What a nice guy.
You can learn the maze for like most of the game, and then you have to leave my arena. Get the fuck out. I had enough of
It's
you.
12 minutes of where the hell did I get shot from, and then 5 nukes drop, and then the game's over.
Perfect.
And it's like, oh, that was very poor. Oh.
So how many days play did you guys get?
So we played basically from Sunday through Wednesday.
Right.
So yeah. So 4 days of as far as like Space 5 stuff goes, like starting around about 8-ish, emphasis on the ish, and then going from anywhere like till anywhere between like 1 and I think the last night on Wednesday we went until like 2:30, which waking up Thursday morning to have to do the drive back to Vegas, that was fun.
Yomi
Yep.
Dudio. He will also take time out again to explain how he is going to crush you in his next game. He's good like that, isn't he?
Yeah. He doesn't keep anything secret. And again, he can tell you exactly what's going on. It's just a matter of putting that into practice. It just takes a lot of time. And I'll say, certainly every time that I go back to the St. George field, I think I develop more of an appreciation for it, and I like it a little bit more each time.
Yeah, I seem to remember the first time that we went, we left thinking it was fucking trash.
Well, A, they made some updates to the field layout since
Also
then.
true.
B,
Also
we were still playing by janky rules, so I don't even count that. Nothing before Syracuse 2011 really counts, in my opinion.
So we had the same
Except for my
thing.
3 nationals titles, those all count.
We had the same thing with Brisbane, right? Like, I think the more familiar you get with the maze,
Yeah, but I loved
I'd say
that
the
from minute
easier.
one.
Yeah, we didn't though.
I know you didn't.
We like it took me I think maybe three visits, like 3 separate years to finally start getting appreciation for the maze, because it was too big, too wide open, too many random places you get shot from and have no idea what's going on. I think like you probably get that with most arenas. I'd imagine the Detroit arena is kind of similar, because there's so many angles and windows you get shot through. From memory, is St. George the arena that has like the whole unused kind of mezzanine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
You
we
don't
don't-
use the second floor at all.
Yeah, the second floor doesn't get used because the second floor does kind of break the arena for Space 5. It's also got some kind of unsafe ramps and
like basically vertical ramps, right?
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Worth the movie theater ramps.
how's your parkour?
there are definitely a couple of ankles and knees just waiting to happen on.
Yeah. Well, you remember the Chula Vista ramps, right, Steve? How steep those were?
No.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. You don't remember anything from that trip.
Not at all. I remember the Venetian Hotel in Vegas. That's pretty much all I remember.
Other than that, the rest of the trip was like when Frodo gets stabbed with a Morgul dagger, and you're just like halfway through this world and the Wraith world for the rest of the week.
Honestly, it was like, yeah, it was. Frodo. I thought you said Fredo. I was like, who stabbed Fredo? I don't remember this happening.
Well, I mean, we all saw it coming.
Yeah, that dude's got a mouth.
We all knew it was going to happen someday.
We're all too old for vertical ramps. Exactly right. Your knees aren't wanting to cooperate. Right. So yeah, I remember that kind of being talked about. It's hard to imagine without like playing it. Even seeing photos, it doesn't give arenas justice.
Context.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get the same feel for it.
Yeah, photos only ever give a very small part of the story. A map only ever gives a very small part of the story. Even even if you've got a full 3D walkthrough, it's only ever some part of the story as far as that goes. Like until you actually are able to step in and walk it and get the actual feel for it, like it just doesn't really land as far as that goes. So.
Now, I will say, although I develop more of an appreciation for it the more times I play it, it is not a good arena for 7-on-7. 7-on-7 games are trash in that field. They should never be played. Anybody who brings up playing a 7-on-7 game in the St. George Arena should be banned permanently for the rest of their life, because I fucking hated that 7-on-7 game.
Is that because of the size? Like it's too small to do it?
Because it's already an arena that is incredibly reliant on field control, where
Right.
if you develop control of essentially 3 of the platforms that are in there, you will just completely dominate the maze. And it's so easy in a 7-on-7 game for one team to exert significant control over the maze and make it life miserable for the other team,
Right.
essentially. 6-on-6, you still have enough of an opportunity. They're going to have a weakness in at least one of those areas that you can exploit. You can move around, and you have to make adjustments.
And in that train of thought, then I'd imagine 5v5 kind of works not just as well, but like still pretty good in that arena.
It would still be pretty good. It would definitely be different. I've played a few 5-on-5 games there. Yeah, I think 6-on-6 is always the purest thing.
Yeah.
And it is
Some
come to be
people-
that way for a reason, but I think the arena is actually really well sized for that. It is a little on the small side relative to a lot of arenas for 6-on-6, but what I like about it is all usable space.
Mm.
There is no square foot of the downstairs portion of that maze that doesn't get used in a game of SM5. You go absolutely everywhere.
Right.
And Goldfish in chat says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel someone brought up playing a 3-team SM5 there. I didn't bring up playing a 3-team SM5. I brought up playing 3-team SM4.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. If anybody
is-
brought up 3-team SM5, they should be shot in the face.
Like even in Brisbane maze where you have the space to do it, yuck.
I could see that, Snuffles.
2 teams just beat up 1. It's brutal. 5v5 actually better heavy wins. Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah.
The heavy 3 hits could really dominate in a 5v5 game at St. George. So I think you need the extra pressure of getting those crossed scout angles and things like that to make it a little more difficult for 3 hits to operate in space.
That's what most of the Brisbane players say too. Yeah. Two teams beat up on 1. Yeah, I've seen it happen. Looks it's
3-team
awful.
SM5 is
dumb.
It's not
the right game for
how the game was designed.
Yeah.
Well, and that was why I was like, hey, 3-team SM4, it would be fun because you can't die.
People threw
And
popcorn and salmon.
And maybe do it 3 teams of 4, and then it would at least be amusing. You keep the 12. You keep it at 12 people so that you're not completely garbaged in that maze. But yeah,
I like multi. I like more
3
than
missing
2.
4.
Yeah. 3 and 4 team missing 4 is dope. It's real fun if you've got the space to play it. Like it's a really fun game. SM5 doesn't work. That's a one team versus the other team. So what kind of tales did you bring back from Utah?
Should we start with the bad first then and then move on to the good?
I guess it depends upon what your definition of bad is in this context.
It's all good to me.
Okay, so let's get the one that I know Steve was curious about out of the way first. So let's first deal with the distasteful story that fortunately doesn't have a bad ending. At least I certainly hope it's not going to have a bad ending, but was scary in the moment. Was the second night of play. We played late into the night, and one of the teams essentially, so the Disco, Autumn, Grack, Aiden group, along with Caleb and Rachel, were all staying in an Airbnb that was about 15 minutes from the center, kind of out in one of the newer housing developments in one of those little, satellite compound areas that Than was talking about, relatively new housing development. But it goes down, there's like this long street, there's a hill running up to it and stuff like that. Rachel was getting a little tired because she had been forced to hike through Zion on the Snow Death March with Than earlier in the day. So,
I mean, yes.
So Caleb very nicely offered to take her back to the Airbnb so she could have a little nap before everybody else got home, and then he would get food for people. So they take off. I don't think anything else of it. They come back, and I noticed that they have both returned. I say, "Oh, Rachel, you decided to come back." I learned pretty quickly, wasn't so much they decided to come back, and I realized pretty quickly something was wrong because Caleb was freaked out, was literally shaking. Like the adrenaline was still coursing through him. And they proceeded to tell me a story that as they were on their way up the hill to said Airbnb, they noticed this kind of beat up Honda that was driving down the road very, very slow. And then just kind of pulled off to the side a little bit. So it was like, oh, maybe they're looking for something. Not that big a deal. I'll just go around them and stuff like that.
There's the Honda.
Ugh. And yeah, wow. Thanks, person driving down my street. We're getting a multi-sensory experience going on here.
The 4D.
So he decides to go past them. Immediately after he passes the car, though, the old Honda revs up their engine, turns on their high beams, and just guns it and starts tailgating him really bad, really freaking the two of them out. And they're like, what the fuck? What is this guy doing? So Caleb said his first thing was just try to get away from the guy as quickly as possible and just try to make it to the Airbnb. Rachel very smartly said, don't go to the Airbnb. We don't want this guy following us to where we're staying, obviously. So Caleb continues to sort of drive down some of the other side streets. There are lots of little side residential streets and stuff like that, but really didn't know where he was going. Ends up pulling down one street and it goes onto a cul-de-sac, so it's a dead end. So the car like goes on the street and essentially tries to box them in, like not let them leave the street and that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean that was. Oh, he turned his headlight off. Okay, while he was still driving. See, Rachel's here to correct the record. So he turned his lights off and was following them. That's like even freakier.
Even worse, yeah.
But yeah, tries to box them in, that kind of thing. Caleb's looking for a way to get around him. And Caleb said that he then thought he saw the guy making some kind of motion, like he was reaching for something with his arm and then bringing it up. Especially in the States, you don't know exactly what somebody might be reaching for and that kind of thing. So fight or flight kicked in. He just gunned it past the dude, managed to get around him as the car was rolling forward, and they just got out of there as quickly as possible. Rachel very smartly called 911 when they were trying to get away from this dude, described the situation of saying, of course, the dispatch operator is like, okay, well, where are you guys? What streets are you on? Like, I don't fucking know what streets we're on. We don't know this town. We're right in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, thing. But eventually we're just naming streets as they were going by and just started driving back to tag as quickly as they could. Fortunately, lost the guy, made it back to the center, and we made sure that there was a convoy essentially to get them back so nobody would be going back by themselves later in the night, including at least one of the St. George people who I think has a concealed carry permit in case there's going to be a Wild West shootout because it's America, and that's the kind of thing that we do over here.
Jesus.
So that was definitely a scary situation. It's one of the craziest things I've heard of happening in any one of these tag events and that kind of thing. But fortunately, everybody was okay. I think Caleb and Rachel handled it really smartly. It was one of those things that I'm glad that they were both there and that neither of them was by themselves. Yep. we had a convoy, big old convoy going back to the house.
That's freaking terrifying, dude.
Yeah, well, that was freaky. But, the moral of the story is this. So we don't want to hear any more shit from Thunder about how, ooh, Detroit's so scary. Ooh, California's so full of criminals. I don't remember anybody getting followed back to their Airbnb in our state. So your state is the one that's filled with criminal trash, Thunder. So don't bring in this, Utah's great. We don't have any crime kind of bullshit up in here.
Well, and what makes that made it even worse was because that was the day that Rachel and I had gone out to Zion. When I was driving her back to the Airbnb, we literally drove by an apartment complex that was in the middle of a SWAT standoff.
Holy shit!
Like straight up, we're driving down the road, and both of us like kind of start tracking forward and left. Like, okay, so there's some police cars with flashing lights in that parking lot. That's an apartment complex. Why is there's a police officer like kind of behind cars on the hill? What the fuck? And as we're driving by, there's like literally like they're in full SWAT riot gear with their assault rifles like pointed at an apartment. There was a standoff or something. Rachel found the article, but it was one of those like developing story type things, so it didn't have a lot of details. But yeah, so that was Tuesday. That was a really weird day.
Silver lining for the story, right? At least I would imagine Pint Size didn't need to nap after that. Probably wasn't feeling too tired. So yay for criminals.
Well, there was that adrenaline spike, and then it started coming down
on the crash. Yeah, on the crash that'll put you out.
So I kind of just sat with them for a good 45 minutes, tried to make sure that people weren't going to bother them, drink some water, trying to freak out too much.
And then like I knew that they had left tag, and then I walked in the back, and I see them. I'm like, I literally did a double take seeing both of them back. I'm like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be here. You were leaving. And then I got the story. It's like,
I hired a guy.
It was like, what the fuck? So yeah,
That's
that was
insane, dude.
definitely yeah. I'm trying to think. 24 years of playing tag. I think I think that story wins as far as freakiest
People,
bullshit.
yeah, people effing
Yeah.
with you. We got accosted in a liquor store in Inglewood. That was about as close to danger as we ever got.
Maybe they just wanted to see your fancy new wallet.
Yeah, wow. I think I bought my wallet at that liquor store. What the fuck you looking at? Whoa. So holy shit, that's
Get your shit together, Utah. Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Poor Caleb. Dad says I'm full of shit. What do you mean? About that story? That lady accosting us? It happened. I wasn't hallucinating at that point.
Getting yelled at isn't being accosted, not by American standards anyway.
True, you guys are all very loud, so Dan sounded like you guys got pretty close to danger after the Barstow Denny's.
Yeah, that was a story from all the way back in like 2003, though.
He's saying we were not. You were not. I was.
Yeah, we had old man story time where Than and I told the tale of our very first road trip to St. George way back in 2003, and
2002, 2003, somewhere in there.
somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was. Yeah, I was thinking 2003 because I thought it was the year I graduated high school, but I could be wrong.
Whatever.
Oh,
It was a
geez.
long fucking time ago.
Either way,
You're only a year older than I am.
something like that. You were born in '86, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in '84.
Oh yeah, right on. Right. What else have you got? What else happened? Showing your age, yeah.
Okay, so that was the bad story. So we got that one out of the way. But
Yeah.
again, happy ending. I was very
love me a
proud
happy
of Caleb and Rachel for handling that situation well and for being smart coming back to tag and making sure that there were obviously going to be a lot of people there and nobody's going to fuck with a bunch of laser tag players because we're all badasses, obviously.
Totally.
Maybe they were just looking for directions. They were like, these guys, why won't they slow down and help us? I know, we'll box them into a cul-de-sac. That's always non-threatening.
Yeah.
Completely.
On
Yeah.
the same day that you saw a SWAT team. Totally.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Weird shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, as much as Than might have thought that he was playing sloppy, the very first day that we were there, I must confess, Than and I got matched head to head at Commander, and he beat the shit out of me in this game. Now, in fairness, he did have Kodama as heavy, and Kodama was also roasting the shit out of me every time I tried to come into their resup. To the point that he was making like circles around one of the platforms and resetting me before I even had a chance to like get across to the other side of where I was going to try to position my attack. To the point that I got so frustrated at one point during the game, I tried to call out to my teammates, and I'm like, "Can someone tell me, is there any place where Kodama isn't in this game? Like, don't tell me where it is. Tell me where he isn't, and I'll try to be there instead." And I even had to apologize to him after the game because I tried to call out what I thought were a few chases. But the thing is, in the St. George Arena, there are so many ways to get around that there are only like 2 areas of the maze where it's like a backtrack is going to fully work. Other than that, there's always a second pass someone can take. And I just kind of let my frustration boil over. And, what do? You immediately accuse the other person of cheating like a dickhead. So,
I was on your team when you yelled at us.
I wasn't yelling at you. I was yelling your direction. I was just yelling in general.
It was the worst thing that happened to Pint Size the whole week.
Yeah, but DK, I think you still beat it. I think you still beat us that game though. Like score wise, I'm pretty sure your team still won.
I don't recall, but I don't think. I'd have to go back and look. We might have won, but I didn't feel like I played particularly well. And I remember another point during the game, I think it says anyone else shooting Kodama. Yeah, sure didn't seem like it. Let me tell you. At one point during the game, it was like right after I gotten my second nuke, and I was attacking. I think you happened to be going back to your resupply, and I heard somebody ask you, "Hey Than, how many nukes do you have?" And you said, "I'm almost on my third," and I like just got my second. I was like, God damn it, I was getting fucking crushed out here. I'm like, Than's almost a full nuke ahead of me. I must be really bad at laser tag. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, anytime I'm a full nuke ahead of somebody, yeah, no, that doesn't say much for what you were doing in that game. That's true.
But that's a
I
good
should-
point. Who was your heavy, DK? Let's throw someone under the bus.
Uh,
Someone.
trying to remember at this point. Somebody not as good as Kodama, I want to say.
Yeah, that'll happen. I love those games. Yeah.
Yeah, it was what it was. And I mean, I had, I think, my share of good games while I was there. I finally got like, I don't remember what it is. What do you need? Like the 8K Scout Score achievement and the 4K Medic achievement. So I got a few new ones that were in there. I felt like I knew what I was doing a little bit better playing Scout in that field than I had relative to the last tournament we were there. I still don't feel totally comfortable in how to play Commander in that field. It seems like a lot more people are more worried about how to play Heavy in the St. George field. I find Heavy so much easier to play than Commander in that field. Both in that field and in Detroit, actually. I much prefer playing Heavy to Commander, but you know, that happens.
Did you just open LF stats, Dan?
I totally did just open LF stats.
I could tell because of all the glare.
Yeah.
Russ, you need to update dark mode. What's going on here?
If it was like click whoosh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's
but
all right.
yeah, if it's the game that I'm thinking of, I think you guys still won.
We might have.
But that's why
Oh no, it was me. Okay, yeah, Rachel was our Heavy. Which was what, like your 8th or 9th game in that field?
The beacons are lit. Amazing.
Yeah, but I will say, yeah, honestly, but I gotta give Fan, you played that game really well, and that other Heavy game that you played that you were looking for the last night we were there. You had a game where you just fucking crushed people as a Heavy.
That feels so good, doesn't it?
At first or second, yeah. So see, wasn't a great setup, but Kodama plays a really, really strong Heavy in that field.
He plays strong
fact,
Heavy regardless.
We were talking about like if we had to put together a California team, since now most of us California players are homeless and sightless, so we should just be allowed to congregate a team made up of the best California players we could find. That, yeah, like probably my pick to play 3 hits on that team would be Zev, aka Soy Boy, as Commander and Kodama as Heavy. Because at least in the St. George arena, from what I've seen, like going against those two would be scary. Unless you're like Thunder and Tandor. Obviously they would still beat us, but that's what they do.
So DK, the only game that I can find where we're head to head is actually on the Tuesday, which may just be a function.
Maybe it was Tuesday, maybe it wasn't Monday. I can't. They all jump together at this point.
But yeah, but your Heavy was Chaser.
That's who it was. It was Chaser. Yeah, you're right.
And but you guys still won that game by 4K because Snuffles put up 10K as a scout.
Ooh.
Well, yeah.
Good.
When in doubt, just don't jump in Snuffles' backpack, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, you know. So teams from that game because I'm here and we're discussing it. So DK was Commander, Chaser was Heavy, Pint and Snuffles were Scouts. Nolan from Chula was Ammo, and Inferno was Medic. And my team, I was Commander, Kodama was Heavy, Snowflake and Goldfish were Scouts, Tucker was Ammo, and Ace was Medic.
I remember one of the games I watched was...
It's actually not a terrible break.
Yeah. The second to last day of gameplay, Pint Size was playing a Commander game, and she was dominating the other team. It was awesome to watch. It was awesome to love going out. And
that was the thing that happened.
Yeah, somebody pre-game was like, "Oh, I think the other team's got this," and Baden was in chat going, "I don't know. Don't count Pint out. She's watch her go." And sure enough, dominated. It was awesome. Got lucky. Too humble, mate. Too humble. Just be like, wreck those suckers.
Plus, there was that other game, Rachel, where you were playing Heavy, where you were just like beating the crap out of me when I was Scout, trying to look for the other side, and I couldn't move because I'm like, I'm staring right at Rachel, and I can't let her see what the rest of my team is doing. Because I literally just had to like stare at this like box that was perfectly sized for Rachel on the yellow side. They have like this box that has a cutout, but it's just the right size that it's like she could stand up and not be seen, but also none of her sensors are showing. Whereas for everybody else, it's like they have to like crouch or move in a very specific way to try to cram themselves into this one weird shaped cubby, but it's like just the perfect Rachel size. So she was just defending like crazy from there.
Awesome. What else was kind of stand out from the week?
I mean, the reality is that there were a lot of sloppy games, and as Glader just said in chat, too many games. I was looking at watching how the hell did they lose? Glader, the answer to that question is because the arena plays like a speedball maze, and
there can be cascade failures, and a game can go downhill very, very quickly.
And with those cascading failures, it's not like most other mazes where if you get kicked, you probably have a chance to reestablish. St. George, if you get kicked and you've got cascading failures on the arena control, you're just gonna have a bad time. Yeah. Goldfish's comment in chat about some of Applesauce's Commander games. Sauce smacked a bunch of people around as a commander.
Awesome.
As well. It was good.
I think that was honestly one of my favorite things from the week. I feel like most people had at least one or two games where they had a really standout performance and was like, oh man, they really smashed. Because I know Applesauce did. Grack had a couple of games where he was just smashing on people. Autumn had some games where she was smashing on people. Nolan, I know, had a like super like
he had a few
9 9K commander game or something like that. So lots of people I think had some success stories during the week, and I thought it was really good that even in using the randomizer, using the matchmaker, we didn't have anybody that like straight up didn't know how to play. I mean, probably, I guess Twix is probably still the newest player that we had, right? Because she had pretty much only played the tournament last October, and then this was like her second time at the maze. But I've seen her get a lot better just from those 2 times that we've played.
Well, and chat just brought something up that's like, oh yeah, so this string of games did actually have one of the best, like, I'm thinking back through, I think probably the best board flip I have seen in the entire time that I've ever played. It was a moment where teams were going pretty even, looked like a nuke was about to drop, and it was going to go very, very poorly for the team the nuke was about to get dropped on. Luke from Loveland canceled the nuke that was supposed to drop. Immediate counter nukes, and suddenly the game goes completely fucking pear-shaped, and it was just like, oh fuck. No, it was you could not have scripted the cancel and corresponding drops after being any more perfectly timed. Like, it's one of those cancel drops where you would have expected you would had to have had like perfect information to know this. No, new cancel, and it was like a 3-chain immediately afterward in response. Just absolutely completely fucked the other team. And Goldfish was like in chat, it was phenomenal, and it sucked. Yeah, because she had been the medic that had been untouched. She was on 20 lives with 7 minutes left in the game.
Wow.
And then suddenly she was dead in the space of like, I want to say like 3 minutes after.
I have seen that happen more times than I would like to admit, St. George.
After the nuke flip, it was yeah, it was so ridiculous to be watching that happen. It was like, oh, that canceled. Oh, this is oh shit.
And you'll just see like the entire
Fuck.
left side of the board is like all green team or all red team, as the other one just gets kicked up and down the maze.
Yeah,
the
it
wherewithal
was.
you have to pull that off too. Like if somebody's nuke cancels and you're like, oh cool, I'm not dead. I'm in a reasonably good position. I'll just drop my 3 nukes that I have. Like that takes some real skill to pull off and outstanding timing.
Yeah.
That would have been great to watch.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of those games that kind of need to find it again and watch it because it is so ridiculous just how it happens. Like, are you kidding? Fuck. Because yeah, I mean, it was I mean, it's not very often that you see, especially in St. George's Maid, that literally it's like, oh, there's 7.5 minutes left. The medic hasn't been touched yet. What? It's not a common thing at all. And at that point you're thinking, okay, cool. This game has an expected trajectory. Greg's projection algorithm would have had that team's win percentage probably somewhere like 80-90% plus at that point because of the lives differential. And it's like
all of us would have.
Yeah, it was like Goldfish was on 20, and the other medic I think was somewhere down around 10ish, which is why these nukes about to drop was like, oh yeah, no, this is the game. Oh no, cancel. Oh no, counter. Oh no, they're running. Oh no, they're all dead. What? It was genuinely a really, really great thing to watch. Would have been a great thing to be on the winning side of. Definitely not so fantastic to be on the losing side of, but you got to appreciate it when it happens. So, speaking
of which, when are we getting an update on that? On what?
I think on Greg's algorithm.
Oh, I don't know. Since COVID, things have kind of slammed to a halt here. So,
COVID, never heard of it.
Well, not down here at least.
Okay, and the link that Yomi Dudio just posted in chat is the flip game. So
right.
Yeah, if anybody wants to kind of see the storyline there,
you might be
Step
able to
one, turn down
this.
your brightness.
Yeah, let's
into dark mode.
Rust, get on that.
When we get in dark mode for LF stats.
If someone could find out which day that is and find out where in the VODs that game might be and send a link through into the Discord, that would be amazing. If anyone here who is watching today hasn't already, please come join us over at Discord, because that's where we talk outside of the podcast. Come hang out with us. You might like it. It's a little more easy than Facebook, shall we say. Right. What else? What else you got? What are the tales?
I mean,
Pine-Size mentioned her favorite Grack moment. When she went back to a Resup one game, Team asked how she was doing. Response was, "I fucked him up." If it's the same game I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure that was one of the last games we played where we had Autumn and Grack as our 3 hits. And before the game, both of them are just like, "Oh man, this is gonna go well. We're gonna be 3 hits. We're probably gonna be outmatched and stuff like that." I'm like, I don't know. You never know, but they got that sister connection, and then all of a sudden the Wonder Twins power activates, and they were just crushing people. It was awesome. Insane.
That's a new match, great. I'm glad she played. I've been to a few tournaments now where she has just been a bystander. So
specifically because this wasn't a tournament; it was just fun
casual,
games.
Right.
It was a low pressure atmosphere, but. Yeah, especially a few games on the 3rd day, she killed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another game, probably I think my best commander game of the week. I have to give a lot of assist credit to Grack because she was constantly pinging one out of Disco as the opposing heavy. That allowed me to get in way more than I otherwise could have because he was super focused on me with good reason. But Grack was just constant thorn in his side, so it
I
went
love
pretty
that.
well.
Yeah, and that was part of the reason for trying to do this as something that wasn't tournament based, because I mean there are players that don't necessarily thrive in a tournament environment, but who do want to travel and enjoy the play. We'll get into some things that could have been done differently to make it better, because everything's a learning experience after we're done with story time. But as an idea, I mean, I think it actually ended up working out pretty well. But as far as like game memories and whatnot, honestly, the most against me are just they just all kind of blend together, because they just do.
Yeah, the game we played
but
Resup together was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was great getting the band back together.
Well, I think that was the game. Goldfish mentioned it too, that she drew heavy and she wasn't real happy about it.
Yep.
And we're just like, don't worry about it. We got it. We'll tell you where to go. We'll just take this platform. It'll be fine.
It's amazing what you could do as a competent resupply, like having that sureness.
There was a definite moment off the jump where it or at least when the positions got picked, there was a moment of that happened for some various reasons, and if she puts them into chat, then I'll cover them. But it was like, no, we're good. We're gonna go do a thing. We're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, she put it into chat, so I'll go through it. So her first heavy game in the maze, she got knocked out literally in 54 seconds.
Wow.
It was.
Remember, Trinity, at least it wasn't finals of a laser tag nationals tournament, because that happened to me.
Yeah. So. Yeah, 2013 that happened. It was not good. So she was very, very much having a minor freak out moment when the positions drew, and she looked at her gun and she saw heavy, and she's literally started going, basically, oh my god, and DK and I are like, oh cool, I'm medic, your ammo, sweet. And so both of us are like, it'll be fine, it's good. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go over to yellow platform. It'll be fine. It's all good. And game started, and we went and did the things, and she shot people, and we gave a resupply, and there was no dying, and it was great. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah. By the way, Disco Stew, fuck your Reggies. You stupid team.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love how long people can hold a grudge for in this community. It's great.
They were the better team. We weren't going to win that Nats, but I was hoping.
No, we were not.
I was hoping it would last a little longer than a minute. That's what she said.
Did you guys get much time for like social stuff this week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that was the other nice thing about the playing in the evening, is it definitely did allow for, I mean to be fair, I wasn't being super social. I was going out to Zion a couple of different times, but even with that, being able to go and do stuff was great. Did actually go and hit the Meow Wolf art installation, the Omega Mart in Vegas with Goldfish. She had mentioned it. It was like, yeah, let's go do that. That sounds amazing. And yeah, definitely, if anyone is going through Vegas in any way, shape, or form, and wants something, wants an overall experience that is a good 3 to 4 hours of kind of mind fucky goodness, you definitely want to go do the Meow Wolf Omega Mart art installation. It is fucking amazing.
I will do that next time.
Yeah, no, it was really great.
I can't wait to come
So,
back over. So many things.
but yeah, I mean, there were definitely definitely lots of random hanging out in random different groups throughout the time. Yeah, it was just a chill social 5 days.
Yeah, the last full day we were there, Wednesday, my day basically started. It was the day after the unpleasantness of the Road Warrior Mad Max adventure the night before, type of thing. I had gotten up. I wanted to check on Caleb and Rachel and see how everybody at the house is doing, just to make sure everything had gone okay. And ended up just doing like a coffee run and stuff to bring out the people. So wanted to bring back DK the house dad type experience. And of course had to get some breadsticks because we were in St. George, and you got to get some Pizza Factory breadsticks because those things are the bomb.
They're pretty tasty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's some good ass breadsticks. And then just hung out with them for a while. We went up to Pioneer Park, which is like overlooks the center and the town of St. George generally, with some of the Chula guys. The night before, we'd gone out to sushi with them. I was a little worried about going to a sushi restaurant that's 300 miles from any ocean, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Just get the chicken,
okay.
bro. Chicken sushi. Can't go wrong.
And then we met up with Than and some other people, and we went out to where was it? To Black Bear Diner later that day. So that was pretty cool. I was glad I got to chat with you for a bit because I felt like we'd hung out at Lasers, but I didn't feel like we actually like chatted in a good proper way. So it was good that we got to hang out for a few hours that day.
I suppose it's been a minute since you've had a proper conversation with Than.
Well,
I mean,
in the flesh.
In the flesh.
Yeah, considering the last time we had seen each other was 2018.
Yeah,
it was Brisbane. Yeah.
Now, Trin, you put in there that tattoos were gotten, and I did see that. But what I didn't see, right? One, Slaughtermelon, you owe me a tattoo, sir.
He's aware.
Yeah. This face right here, on that keister.
I don't want you defiling my son's body.
Whatever. He made a pact. He made a pact with the internet. I was hoping that I could have seen my face on his butt as a result of this tournament, but not to be. Yeah, right. What else you got?
I mean, the last heavy game I played was nice. Actually, it was. I'm still paying for it 2 days later.
Yeah, now we'll move on to the I'm getting too old for this shit category.
Yeah, no, the last game I played was a heavier where I actually felt like I actually played a good game, which I said there were only a couple games this week that I actually felt good about. But that last one was one of them. It was like, oh right, I actually do remember how to play this game and get resets and shoot people and kill medics and irritate scouts when they're trying to shoot me and reset the shit out of them and missile them and shoot the other heavy more times than they shoot me.
The hit diff over 1 as a 3-hit in that field, like you really feel good about yourself because it's just so easy to get pinged.
Yeah, and my hit diff was over 1 that game, so I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, it had to have been. You had almost 10K, I think.
I was just under 10. So I got the so I got the 9K heavy score achievement, which was nice because I don't normally score that well.
Getting 5
but,
digits as a heavy man, it feels so good. It's such a nice
uh,
achievement.
but suffice to say that my lower back and right hip 2 days later are still going. You did what? Are you necessarily sure?
He got the bruises.
Yeah. Like, are you necessarily sure that you should have, done a try hard for your last game? I mean, the answer to that question is yes. I definitely should have, because I kind of needed to end that playing sequence on a good note. But yeah, definitely getting too old for this shit. Or at least getting too old to be throwing myself around that arena with the ramps the way they are, the way I was. So, yeah.
So, Yomi Dudio said the story of what happened with Zev and Snuffle's car after the last night. Do either of you know that story?
Don't know this story.
Yeah.
After the last night, I got up and left and drove to Vegas the next day. Post it in the Discord. Tell us about it.
Yeah, please check up in Discord. I would very much like to hear about that.
Yeah. So
sure.
my other I'm getting too old for this shit story that actually gave me a lot of sympathy for you, Steve, was also on the awful night, on the bad night when I was driving some of the people back to the Airbnb as part of our convoy. Because Caleb hadn't been able to get food when he was on his way back like he had been planning, we had a lot of very hungry people. And about the only thing that's open that time of night in St. George is McDonald's. So we stopped at the McDonald's drive-thru. So we did our Macca's run stop in and took a look at that menu. I was like, ooh, 20-piece chicken nuggets. Yeah, bring that shit right here.
Yeah, buddy.
So definitely ate that 20-piece nuggets at 2:30, 3 in the morning. They were probably the best tasting thing I'd ever eaten in my entire life at that point. Get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I crash. Then about 6:30, 7 in the morning, I woke up and was like, oh no. Oh, this is not good. And just had to get up, walk around, drink some water, walk over to the
Snowflake,
the old turlet, and decide whether or not I was going to refund those nuggets or not. Like, nope, okay, I feel okay. Walk out of the other room. No, I think I better still stand pretty close just in case something happens here.
Thank you very much, Snowflake, for that follow. Appreciate it. And PogChamp has also been resupplied. Thank you very much. Whoop whoop.
So apparently, getting too old to eat 20 chicken McNuggets at 2:30 in the morning. I probably should have stopped at 10. I might have been okay.
Smalley, we ordered 80 chicken nuggets to our hotel at the last tournament we did.
And they didn't turn off the lights on you?
The people in the downstairs room suddenly had extra holes in their roof. They've started doing 50 chicken nugget boxes here, which stay away from the 50 chicken nuggets, kids.
Don't order this. Get scrambled.
Oh wait, what's happening? Oh, you just subbed. Snowflake with the sub. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Connor.
Appreciate it, man. I hope everyone. Yes.
That's another good story right there. So also, I think it was the last night we were there, and Trinity was reclining on one of the benches while we were watching the game. There were only a few of us who were out there watching the game, stuff like that, and just happened to expose a slight bit of midriff, to which Pint Size immediately took as an invitation, went over and blew a raspberry right on her belly. Really freaked her out, and everybody kind of just sat out because they didn't know what the sound was. So my friend Snowflake over there decides that, this would be a great opportunity for a good joke, and he's like, oh no, hope that doesn't happen to me. He just rolled up his shirt right there, and old mate DK was right next to him and just gave him a good old right on the belly. And he screamed so loud, I have no idea how that sound came out of a person.
That's amazing.
And it was a good time.
That is far less adorable, what you did to him. What you should have done was you should have given him a raspberry. That would have been outstanding. That is a sound I want to bottle.
Yeah, Pine spit out her drink, and then people asked her if she peed herself.
That was the question that came up. Yes.
I agree, Glader. I don't like to ever use this phrase, but he literally was asking for it.
I don't like to use the phrase. His stomach turned red as a raspberry.
Hit him hard. I just got the right angle for the acoustics to just make sure it reverbed off the walls.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it sounded good. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
good
way.
sound.
It was definitely a good sound on it.
And
for
neighbors
sure.
like call the police. I think someone was shot just now next door. All he wanted was DK's
Blimey.
mouth on you. That's all we ever want, my friend. Dave.
Next time, you gotta stop using the B word, Connor.
Dave, could you do me a favor and put your mouth on my belly? I'm
sure that would have gone so well for you.
I'm sure that would have been like way more horrific for you in the middle of the night to hear that instead of what was actually uttered. Well, thank you for those follows. Just by the way, we're up to 195 followers. We are well on our way to hitting that 200 follower mark. So if you have friends and family, tell them to come watch us and smash that like and subscribe button.
Would be horrified.
They're like, what is this garbage?
Literal
right.
trash.
Than, any more stories?
Not necessarily more stories at this point. Just some things now that we've done something like this once. Just some things to make it run run better next time. So DK, unless you've got anything else you wanna bring up, we can transition to the how can we do it better portion of the day.
Nah, I think I'm good.
Sweet
But
as.
Connor joining made me think of that story, and I'm glad I remembered it because it was a great moment.
Yeah.
Whack.
So obviously, I mean, we did this kind of with the intention of it not being a tournament, not being serious, just get people together. We ended up, basically breaking new teams for each night, which had its advantages and disadvantages. I mean, part of the idea was to try to get people playing with people that they'd never played with before, which some of the random took care of that, but it is nice to kind of have a set team to try to discuss things with. And so I don't think that was necessarily a bad idea. I think my execution of the idea wasn't as good as it should have been. In as much
It's also
as
hard with that many players, and sometimes St. George people showing up late, people stepping out to get food. It's hard.
Yeah, but I mean, what going forward, if we do something like this again, it probably does make sense to try to have something to actually have Russ set up something on LF stats where we just quickly kick the teams up after they've been created, and then actually have okay, like here's the 10 games that we definitely are going to get through, and then everything else is going to be random afterward. Just so that the scheduling is a little more transparent to people, because I think that was part of the issue with people going to get food and missing games. It's because they didn't always necessarily know exactly when they were supposed to be playing.
But I thought it was more like that members night kind of thing, like the people who were there get to play. Was it not kind of like that?
So with the breaking of teams up. It basically ended up being broken into 5 teams each night, and so and so to keep that the game numbers consistent, there basically was a game schedule. 1 plays 2, 3 plays 4,
Right.
5 plays 1, etc., so forth, so on.
So you were
Basically
playing with, the same people on each of
Yeah,
the
so at least for the first 10 games of the night, you had a set team for your 4 games of those 10.
Right.
And then because usually at the game 10 mark was usually about the point that where people, either were like, okay, I'm done for the night, or if they were local, sometimes, yeah, I've got work in the morning, I gotta go, then you just start doing the first 12 in, random go.
I.e., people who lack dedication.
I definitely lack dedication then.
You were there. Clearly, you don't.
So
Not everybody
so
can be Iron Man Soy Boy.
that's also fair. So going forward, actually having Russ set something up so that we can load the team names each night, so we can load a schedule so people can go, okay, yeah, in my normal thing I'm going to be playing about here, so they can time so they can time their food runs a bit better. I think that's really the big thing. I was so just like didn't really want to deal with a whole bunch of stuff, so I didn't have Russ set anything up in LF stats to load things against. I just wanted to have a thing be a thing as far as that goes. But we've proven that we should probably have a little bit more structure to make sure that that part of it goes off better. I think that's really the big thing as far as that goes, at least from my perspective.
Yeah.
DK, you have anything else you want to add on top of that?
Just quickly, thank you very much,
I know
for those those gift subs. Appreciate it.
I know there were some people, I guess, who were under the impression that when we were starting at 8, that we would have exclusive rights to the maze essentially after 8 without Gen Pub, which
was not the case.
Wasn't the case. And again, I know we don't want them to have to turn away business or stuff like that, but maybe we just kind of come up with a schedule to say that, yeah, definitely from this hour to this hour, because I think if people hadn't been getting there at 7 with the expectations that they'd be able to start playing soon, that maybe people would have slept in a little bit later, maybe showed up a little bit later, and we would have actually played later into the night and gotten maybe more games in. But on the whole, we still got a pretty good number of games in. I know on the very last night we were there, I just counted up on I Play Laser Force. I think I'd still got in 13 games the last night, even with us having to run a couple of Gen Pub games here and there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like if there's not that solid tournament structure, there is people need structure, right? They need to know where they're supposed to be at what times, and if they don't have that, then yeah, like Ducky said, it's like herding cats. So,
I mean, yes, this was definitely.
Don't feel bad, man. That's not on you.
No,
but, well, I mean, the herding cats is, I mean, that's just normal as far as that goes.
And that's
this was a little. It was a little more cat herdy than normal.
Legend. Thanks.
Oh, hey, look! It's the turnaround.
Absolutely
game has been posted in chat. So
appreciate it.
What a great community.
Yeah, but like the flip side of that is if you're running a week or whatever, 3 or 4 days of casual games, it's not the end of the world if it is a little looser. It just probably feels a little different because we don't normally run like tag events like that, right? Like if you're gonna have an event, you might as well have teams or some semblance of teams formed, and like, yeah, this felt kind of a step away from that, which is still good. Like I think, considering nobody's played for a while, nobody's seen each other for a while, it's kind of nice to have that looser feel of the tournament.
And I was glad to
Well-
play with some people that I don't usually get to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, don't get me wrong, on the whole, I definitely feel like it was a successful 5 days.
Yeah.
You know, let's put that out there as the first thing. You know, it's definitely, people seem to have fun with it in general. There was a little bit of, you know, griping, you know, at certain players, thinking that other players had intentionally cheated against them, but that, I mean, that happens always.
In Space Marines,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know. So overall, like, the overall thing was good. It was what the community needed, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed something where it was high pressure, high stakes. We're trying to do a thing. I still very much think that would have been extraordinarily counterproductive.
Yeah.
To everything, especially given how the last year has treated most people.
Yeah.
So the event itself, all good, fantastic. I just think for the next time, if we do something like this again, which I think we have a solid proof of concept for it now, as, oh yeah, no, we can actually do this. We can actually put out into the community of, hey, we're going to go and do a thing at this place for a couple of days, and it's intended just to be a looser, not super competitive structure, and people will actually respond positively to it. I admittedly I did have a little bit of concern about that, as to, you know, would people show up for something that's not serious?
I mean, I think most
That most of us who don't live in Utah are homeless, site-wise. It's not that hard to talk us into play some laser tag, I don't think.
exactly. Yeah. All right. Cool. Any other?
So
final
next month,
thoughts?
right? Like 3 weeks. I'm free. Let's go.
I mean, old mate gets a jab and is like ready to travel the world again. Is that what the bruises are from?
I wish.
Yeah. Yeah. Any final thoughts from the week, or?
No,
anything?
just you know, believe it or not, for people who were there, you know, believe it or not, I was happy to see all of you. I realize that I'm for certain not the most social person, and I also realize that I am generally I'm generally relatively standoffish and antisocial when I'm places. I get it. I really am. But it was actually nice to see everybody. So it was good. Liked it. I have to do it again.
DK?
Most said it. I was pretty happy to see everybody too, because I think lasers events are one of the few avenues I have in my life where I do feel like I can be sort of more social and outgoing. And we've discussed this before, that a lot of us probably had some more awkward experiences growing up, and then we kind of found our community. So it's just good to have a group of people that I can
have awkward experiences. No,
yeah.
no, that never happened. Ever.
So yeah, it was really good to see everybody, and just from like also the kind of mental health update perspective, I think that it's good that people have realized and are more open about expressing how much they value members of our community and how much it means for us to be able to get together like this.
Yeah.
And as much as I can realize for myself how I wished kind of earlier in my life that like men could be more open about their emotions, that I could be more open about my emotions. It's still a fairly new concept to me because of, I feel like, how I was raised, the kind of societal pressures that I had, and like trying to break out of that and to actually tell people, you know, straight up, you guys are really important to me. I love you guys.
It's
Let's do
tough
this
for a lot
again,
of people,
and
man.
let's you know, let's not take things for granted,
Mm.
because the last year has proven that it's very easy for those things to slip away.
Yeah. I feel kind of fortunate personally because we got brought up in a household where all of our emotions are worn on our sleeves at all times, good and bad. But I see that it's
Shares.
yeah, I see it's not the norm for a lot of people. So like it is,
100% accurate.
yeah. I'm glad that it's, you know, there is an air of change around it, which is nice.
Well, you know, as I know, you know, we've said on this show multiple times, and I'm pretty sure it's been me. You know, the more we can do to normalize those conversations within our own little pocket of reality, because let's face it, this is our own little pocket of reality. The more comfortable we get the people within our little pockets of reality comfortable with the conversations, well, those people have other pockets of reality that they're a part of. And if, you know, if by us continuing to normalize the conversations about all the mental health stuff, both good and bad, all, you know, the positive and negative, because I mean there's, you know, there's gonna be days where it sucks, and normalizing that it's okay to have bad days. Like, bad days are gonna happen. Like I know I mentioned earlier in on the show, like I literally had like a full on fucking meltdown Monday night. Like it was bad. It was probably one of the worst ones I've had in quite some time. And you know, being able to, you know, have people that were, you know, there for me and able to, you know, try to talk me through some of the, you know, some of the stuff at the time, and just being there and not being afraid of it. It's not quite the right phrase I'm going for, but it's the one I've got right now.
Doesn't sit
Yeah.
well with some people. It just
Yeah, it can be, it's definitely, it's not a fun thing to watch someone that, you know, you're friends with, that you care for, that's part of the community that you love. I mean, pick your checkbox at that point. It's not a fun thing to watch them mentally just falling apart in front of you. And it does take, um, it takes a lot of emotional bandwidth to, you know, stick around for it and try to help them work out of it. And if you've got the emotional bandwidth to do it, then that is fantastic. Having said that, there's a secondary thing here that, if you don't have your own emotional bandwidth to do it, you can't save anybody if you're drowning yourself. So that's also something, you know, that's another part of the conversation that also needs to be had. That, you know, while we want to try to be there for our friends when they're having these type of events, you also need to, you know within yourself as well in that moment, if you've got the emotional bandwidth to be able to take on some of that, because if you don't, you know, it's not gonna go well for both of you at that point.
That's really well.
So-
And that's why we have therapists, kids.
That is entirely why. Yeah, that's definitely why I have one, because as I love all my friends that allow me to vent to them, but there are some times when it's just like, nope, I need to not be taking from other people. I need to,
Not the same kind of constructive
Yeah.
process
yeah.
either. Because your friends are your friends. Mental health professionals are mental health professionals.
They can often
Know the difference.
see things more black and white than the people in your life can.
For sure.
Can't pour from an empty cup. I like that saying. That's a great
Very
saying.
true. Very true.
Well, look, I think we'll leave off there today. I wasn't there, but I'd like to extend thanks to the St. George scene and also site on behalf of anyone that hadn't said it already. I'd imagine people had been thanking people all week. But yeah,
Except Ryan.
without people like you guys, this stuff doesn't happen. So thanks to everyone who helped organize, all the staff who worked, all the locals for showing up, the site owners for opening themselves up, and let a whole bunch of homeless Californians come and play Laser Force.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connor said it, but yeah, big shout out to Snuffles for closing up and making sure we could play late every night. That was big.
Yeah, because without Snuffles basically saying, yeah, I'll do the thing, then we would not have been able to do the thing for anywhere near as long as we did.
For
so,
sure.
Yeah, definitely Snuffles, the real MVP.
So look, oh, fucking dropped a thing. So they give you more reasons to play lasers. Self-serving, right? Coming up on the Resupply channel. Actually, later on this evening, not on the Resupply, but a good friend of ours who also streams. Exclamation Blue Sin in chat. He is hosting myself and my Thunderdome buddy Gray for a movie night debate. We're talking about the greatest superhero movies of all time tonight. We're whittling a list of 52 down to one. Come and hang out. It's probably quite late for any North Americans. But you know, if you're struggling to sleep, come hang out with us. Tomorrow we have.
Damn you, your time zones.
Tomorrow we have D&D. Our
Yes,
last D&D session.
Well, who knows? Things got a little out of hand last time, so you never know.
It was
But we're
pretty
moving
amazing.
towards some kind of conclusion.
So it'll either be the ultimate or penultimate episode of D&D, and then we have a bunch of. And how many hours is that? 6 hours time. In 6 hours, whatever time that makes it there. I'm gonna.
So that's like 2 a.m. goldfish time, I think.
Yeah.
Well, if you
'cause
go to sleep
that's
now,
3 a.m. my time.
if
So.
you go to sleep now, you'll be up in plenty of time.
Well, I've probably reset my clock over the last few days enough that I might possibly be able to do that, but I'm still tired as shit.
I'd imagine you are. We're gonna do that. This coming week we have a bunch more streams. At some point during the week, I'm gonna be making this bad boy down here, this Lego set. And then we'll be back next week for more episode 99 of the Resupply podcast. And I'll build up to episode 100, which I'm very excited about. I'm putting in a bunch of prep for it. Hopefully I can make it as amusing as possible for you two as well as everyone in the community. So I love you, but I'm a pass. Fair. But for this week, I have been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week. Peace.
Later.